All right, hey, I've been thinking about creating a series of videos to share on my LinkedIn profile and maybe a YouTube page. One of the things I'm passionate about is kind of taking the lessons that I've learned that I wish somebody would have maybe taught me early in my career and sharing those with other small business owners, entrepreneurs, people that are trying to start businesses. I also think that there's some information I'd like to share with our clients. One of the things I've said about my businesses is that I've tried to build a company that doesn't simply always have to compete on low price. And a lot of times in the construction industry, that seems to be the only thing that matters, which is really weird because what we do is usually pretty complicated. A lot of different things can affect the quality of a project. Anyway, so I wanted to start to put some videos out there. I kind of tease some of my buddies that are CEOs, and I always say, like, when you get your CEO card, does it come with a card that says that you got to be a little bit of a D-bag, which means the next step is you start a podcast, you get your headphones, you get a little studio in your office, and then other things I tease my buddies about is maybe on the side you're making a protein bar and you've got a couple other things. You're talking about the hustle and the grind and all those different things. But, I guess maybe in some ways that's sort of what this is, but just little thoughts. I thought maybe I would shoot these videos in my car so it gives me a chance to wear sunglasses and maybe even a hat sometimes so people don't see how old I am now. But anyway, going to be putting some stuff out there. I've got to figure out how I want to get it on my LinkedIn account and then ultimately maybe lead it to a YouTube page. But hopefully it's a lot of content of stuff. I started a mentorship program a couple of years ago where it's usually 7 or 8 sessions with other small business owners where I'm trying to take everything that I've learned and maybe everything I learned about safety and jam it into a 3-hour session and ultimately give those people a takeaway at the end of each one of those sessions where they can literally save money or make money, find a better way of doing something and help their businesses, because this is hard. I've learned over the years more respect for people that have made the decision to try and start a business. Sounds fun, sounds sexy. I don't know, now that some of my kids are old enough that they've started their working careers, I get a lot of young guys that are friends of my kids reaching out to me, and I appreciate it. They're excited. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to start to build their own future. Everybody thinks it's all about the hustle and the grind, but, excuse my French, but maybe the biggest thing about being an entrepreneur is about the balls. And I remember when my dad had a business and we were in business together for 10 years and ultimately that company closed. And I lived through that with him, watched it all unfold, watched him essentially lose everything that he had in the world financially. Ultimately, I think it cost him 15 years of his life at the end because of the stress and the damage that it took on him. And I never really fully, even though I was in this with him, I never really fully understood at the time the level of guts that it took to take your entire security, well-being, financial security, and put all your chips in. When you don't come from a wealthy family, when you don't have parents that have money or siblings that have money, you're putting all your chips on the table. And if you've got kids, and in his case, he had me and my brother, and we were both working in the business, put all his chips in, and was betting on himself to build a brighter future for us. And so I have a lot of respect for business owners. I'm not looking, sometimes I get teased by my wife that, I think I have the hardest job in the world, and I know that I don't, but I also do know that making that decision to own your own business is a big difference than a lot of careers. You're still, to this day, I've been in business with my different companies now for almost 16 years, and essentially all my chips are still in. Something really bad could happen, God forbid, in business, and it can clean you out, and I'm trying to do things to be smart and protect ourselves and protect our family, but you're still all in. And so Anyway, going to be putting these videos out there. Hopefully sometimes it's funny. Going to be trying to talk to some people that have helped me. Going to be offering, some of these videos will be much shorter than this, where maybe there's just something I learned on a given day that I wish all other business owners thought about. And I can think of a few things right now that, even 2 years ago, I wish I would have known, related to insurance or different other things like that. So anyway, that's what I'm going to start to do. Hopefully some of you guys found it interesting. People will probably get kind of sick of me. I guess just be glad that as of right now, I'm not wearing headphones and, I don't have some kind of big weird microphones. These are just kind of like messages from my heart shot on my phone. I kind of think of the Jerry Seinfeld show, Coffee and Cars with Comedians, something like that, real basic. And I'm going to just be shooting videos with the smartest guys that I know that have helped me a lot. And hopefully by listening to some of this stuff, it'll help other people. And also selfishly let people know that I think we've built a really good company and we do some really good work, and I've got some really good people. And I hope that, seeing that we're sincere and that we are a company that cares about the kind of product we deliver would be a reason that somebody would want to do business with us. And I'm blessed, and I thank God every day for the fact that over the 15, 16 years, we've got 30 or more Fortune 500 companies that have been willing to give us an opportunity. But I think a big part of my mission for the next couple of years is we are still a little pimple on the butt of the construction industry. And if we're going to make an impact, we need to be able to scale. And if we're going to stay viable in the future, we need to be able to compete with the big boys and deliver big boy capabilities. I'm going to be leaning into AI and innovation and all those different things, and that's a big part of this as well. So anyway, that's it for today. We'll see how this goes. I'll put it out there today, and then you'll probably see too much of me. I'm going to be trying to put it out there, but like I said, I'll try and shoot these where I can wear sunglasses and not look like an old guy, even though I guess I am an old guy. But happy birthday to my firstborn son. He's 27 years old today as well. Happy birthday, Peyton. And we'll talk to you guys soon.